Dragon Ball Z has always been something I and many other people enjoyed. It does have the most complex writing, like anime such as Code Geass, Demon Slayer, and Death Note. Yes, even Death Note, even though the ending sucked. But it's an anime that is designed to be adored by fans simply with animation and fights. And while there have been some moments in the story where the writing excelled, the main focus of the anime was to create all these epic climactic fights. However, after the Majin Buu saga, Dragon Ball came to a complete halt. For nearly 20 long years, Dragon Ball blipped out of existence. Nobody asked you, DT. Anyways, it got to a point where some people wondered if the series was ever coming back. But we should be satisfied with how it ended, right? The Buu saga ended in such a structured manner, tying up all loose ends of the series. There wasn't any foreshadowing for future content, all the characters were fully established and developed, and there were no foreseeable threats to come in the future. So, why aren't we satisfied? Well, it's simple. The anime was something that held dear to every one of us, and just the fear of it never coming back always made us itch for more. Then finally, after 18 long and painful years, on June 20th, 2014, the very first trailer of a brand new Dragon Ball movie was released.
So tell me, how does it feel becoming a god?
And the internet lost its shit. This was not only the first Dragon Ball movie in decades, but also the first piece of Dragon Ball content to come out in what felt like an eternity. While the majority of the audience was hyped for the revolutionary film, some were somewhat skeptical on where the franchise would lead with this. Because here's the scary thing. If the movie bombs and isn't well received by longtime fans after being starved of Dragon Ball and stranded with Dragon Ball GT and the 73 watts of Dragon Ball Z, what do you think will happen to the franchise? Simple. It dies out. It will have a special place in anime's Hall of Shame if the movie becomes severely disappointing. This movie needed to work in order for the franchise to survive. Naturally, we already know the movie was a success, but why was it so successful? Well, that's what I'm going to be discussing today, as I do think it's one of, if not the best Dragon Ball movie to date. I'm your favorite vegetable carrot boy, and let's get into the video. From the first trailer of Battle of Gods, they introduced two brand new characters, Beerus and Whis. Beerus was said to be a god of destruction in search of Goku. And no, not those hilariously weak gods compared to Goku, an actual god that holds a tremendous amount of power. Beerus intends to destroy Earth, but Goku unlocks this new power in hopes of defeating him. Personally, I don't like how they advertise Beerus. In the first trailer, he just seemed like a generic villain who just happened to be a god. But I was surely mistaken when the movie was released, and they took a good amount of time from the start of the movie to introduce Beerus and Whis. I love the interaction between the both of them. They played off each other very well and how casual they can be. It makes their characterization stand out more because the Kai's built up all this testing when Beerus awoke. But in reality, Beerus and Whis don't act super serious about their strength or what they intend to do simply because they are naturally that stronger experienced. The best part about Whis and Beerus' introduction was that throughout the sequence we were given little snippets about just how powerful Beerus is in a very casual manner. This showed that he's definitely a threat to be reckoned with, but gives some depth in his character when he's able to disintegrate basically anything without much thought or effort. It's second nature for him and Whis. The writers knew they didn't need to show Beerus' strength in his grand planetary destruction event, unlike a certain adaptation we don't talk about. So Beerus intends to visit Goku because he had a premonition of what he described to be a Super Saiyan God, a person which he claimed will surpass him. Just from their short introduction, we can already see that these characters aren't going anywhere. They established both Beerus and Whis' dynamic with distinct personalities that flesh them out into a definitive character for the franchise. Beerus is a lazy, laid-back god who hates to be proven wrong about anything, and he has no hesitation with destroying things that annoy him, while Whis is a sophisticated partner of Beerus, who we find out later is his master. He is able to put up with Beerus' childish behavior as willing to support him regardless if he believes to be true or not, simply to appease him. We learned almost everything we needed to know about these two in the time span of less than 20 minutes. I for one like the pacing of this movie so far. They were able to fully establish both these characters in such a short amount of time without the sequence feeling rushed or so compact they could fit into a garbage cube. And while Beerus and Whis are discussing about the Super Saiyan God, Goku overhears King Kai talk with the other Kais about Beerus and immediately becoming curious. Unable to keep secrets from Goku, King Kai is forced to tell Goku about Beerus and why he should avoid fighting him. Goku only wants to fight him even more because of those warnings. There's just something so classical and nostalgic about Goku's personality here, and it tells the audience that this movie is bringing Dragon Ball back to its fun, yet suspenseful roots. And soon, the time was almost upon us for Goku and Beerus to finally meet one-on-one. Before we get into the meat of the movie, we can't possibly forget about Bulma's birthday party going on during the character introduction of Beerus. It's where half of the movie takes place, so I might as well bring it up now before everything starts to burn up into a fiery pit of hell. So yeah, Bulma's having a birthday party at the same time Beerus awoke, and Goku is getting hyped to meet him. The party in of itself is inoffensive. The only main gripe I have about it is that Bulma's bingo prize is 7 wishing orbs that grants you anything. I get that's safe enough because they've been in peaceful times that everybody at said party is all of Bulma's peers, but I can only imagine how dramatically ironic it would be if a threat does come along and starts murdering everybody, but they can't use it because, oh no, Yamcha over here used the Dragon Balls for a new car 3 months ago. On that, I feel like it helps set the mood for the movie even more later on. But for now, Beerus finally arrives at King Kai's planet and Goku is already giddy just from being near him. Without hesitation, Goku offers Spyro at Beerus, to which Beerus accepts because of how bold of an offer is to someone like him. The fight here and the main fights later on in the movie are executed pretty well. I personally prefer the lack of music for a good chunk of the movie, but I'll get to that later on. My point here is especially apparent here. Goku takes all this time to power up to his strongest form, and there is still an absence to traditional Dragon Ball music. And we know as to why from the second Goku tries to attack Beerus. He can't land a single hit on him. Beerus effortlessly moves and attacks faster than Goku can even process. And it's 2 hits, Beerus knocks Goku out cold when he could have easily killed him then and there. There's no music for the fight here because it's hardly a fight in Beerus' mind. A single flick and a chop is enough to exhaust Goku of all of his strength and knock him out instantly. After being disappointed in Goku, Beerus hopes to find better luck on Earth, where we said that multiple Saiyans are still alive down on the planet. To which Beerus states earlier that Earth will be destroyed if anything annoys him even in the tiniest bit. After swiftly defeating Earth's strongest fighter, he departs in search of a Super Saiyan God. King Kai hastily warns Vegeta on this threat, to which Vegeta acts very differently than what he would normally would. That's because he has a very vague memory of the name Beerus that ends up sending him into a fearful fit. This makes the tone of the movie all the more darker. Because when Vegeta decides to show up at Bulma's party, he is at the point where he is shaking just at the thought of Beerus, while everybody has not a damn clue as to what's going on with him. Vegeta is the only one knowing of Beerus, and even then he only has a repressed memory of him. But that alone gives Vegeta scared. The direction of the scene is just astounding. Hear the disembodied voice of Beerus, forcing Vegeta to instinctively show up and frantically look around, searching for a voice he's convinced is in his head. And when he finally turns and sees Beerus menacingly sitting down, his memory of Beerus starts to reform, seeing King Vegeta at his knees in the presence of Beerus. Once Vegeta discovers that Beerus is in search of a Super Saiyan God, the conversation gets cut off by a very drunk Bulma who invites Beerus to a party. The absolute last thing that needed to happen. Because the most annoying thing on the planet are drunk humans, and there's a plaza filled with them. So now, Vegeta has to be damage control in the most hilarious skeptical possible to make sure nothing pisses off Beerus off to the point of destroying Earth. Well, time to dive into the very special sequence in the No. I'm not talking about the Pilaf gang. You can't make me. Alright. Fine, let's get this over with. Pilaf gang is shit. They completely shift tone on the movie and almost have no purpose of even being there. We go from this intense sequence of Vegeta having to embarrass himself and entertain Beerus for the lives of himself and others, to the fucking Pilaf gang searching for a Dragon Ball for Pilaf gang reasons. Outside of organically hinting at Videl being pregnant, they have almost no use here. I know they have a tendency of showing up at random intervals, but it's done very poorly here. Good lord, I hate these 3. Okay, I'm done. They only deserve that amount of screen time. Now back to our regularly scheduled program. Now's probably the perfect time to discuss how they directed the music in this movie. While the movie has very little of it, the fact that hardly any comes up makes the OSTs in the movie all the more better. This is especially true when looking at Hero Flow. Whenever Beerus is interacting with others, there's always this very eerie beat that follows. I do personally think that this is where the movie is at its strongest. They know exactly how to set the mood with either the choice of music or the lack thereof. A great example of this would be when Beerus starts vibing at Bulma's party. On screen it looks like everybody's having fun, but there's either piano playing in the background.
I thought the moment needed something.
Tells the audience that there's more to the scene than just everybody partying, because if at any point that Beerus gets annoyed, everything will go to absolute shit. That's why they include this OST that changed the mood entirely from a cheerful party to possible destruction just waiting to happen. And because Beerus can be irritated so easily, we all knew that he would get pissed eventually when Boo refused to give Beerus a pudding cup.
Pudding! Oh, even the name is resplendent in flow of deliciousness!
The thing that hooked the audience into this sequence was not if Beerus was going to go past the breaking point, it was the fact of when it was going to happen. Vegeta couldn't have directed Beerus' attention to him forever, so when Beerus did lose cool, it would make the scene all the more hype. And the music in this all-out brawl didn't scream that it would go to either side, it only spelled disaster and defeat. Even Vegeta got wiped out very easily, and seeing Vegeta go to a level even stronger than Goku after his character-defining moment of rage only to virtually do nothing in Beerus, was enough for everyone to believe that this was really the end. But then Hero Oolong came along and won the final battle against Beerus. Rock, paper, scissors. Well, that didn't last long, but it was a comedic moment that was organically added in and lasted as long as it needed to. It's almost like the scene wasn't intended to last any longer than 2 minutes and act like this problematic and final clash. All hope truly seemed lost when Goku suddenly appeared at the perfect time. It's almost too convenient that he showed up right before Beerus was about to destroy the planet. Goku uses Dragon Balls in order to use Shenron to find the supposed Super Saiyan God. And as it turns out, Super Saiyan God is something attained by means of ritual. This is a very unique way of transforming. I personally like that a power this massive enough to stand up to Beerus isn't achievable by normal means. After failing the first ritual and discovery of Videl being pregnant, Goku finally achieved the legendary Super Saiyan God transformation. So naturally he should be feeling all powerful and different, right?
Yes, but actually no.
Goku doesn't really feel different. He feels and acts calm as if he didn't change at all. This is all because of how different the energy that only gods hold. He's not used to his type power, so he feels as if nothing's changed. It's not until the final fight of Beerus that he starts to become more adjusted to his power. Looking back at it now, Beerus and Goku are perfect matchups against each other. They both share the need to fight somebody worthy of their power. Two fighters that want the thrill being pushed to their limits, just for different reasons as to why. They start off nice and slow, almost as if Beerus is training Goku in a way so that he can have an actual fight. While the pacing of the fight doesn't pick up until later on, the slow movements of Goku and Beerus work in the movie's favor. It shows Goku's body slowly becoming adjusted to his new energy to the point where he is shockingly able to hold his own against Beerus even when Super Saiyan God's time limit ran out. Watching Goku out of nowhere revert to base without acknowledgement, yet still able to land some blows on Beerus was executed perfectly. The deactivation of Super Saiyan God transitioned so smoothly mid-fight and left people baffled when Goku was still able to handle Beerus. And this was the perfect time for the fight to speed up when Goku transformed into powered up Super Saiyan, followed by the epic final track Hero Flow.
I will not let you destroy my world!
Probably one of, if not my favorite tracks in Dragon Ball. Not only because of how it was executed in the movie, but also because the song itself feels like everything Dragon Ball is about. The song is dedicated to this epic clash between a mortal and a god. For the first time, it truly felt like it was anybody's match. Though, this fight ended a lot differently than some had hoped. Before I get into how the fight ended, I need to discuss one thing about the fight that I didn't talk about yet, which is my personal favorite scene in the entire movie.
I spent my life pushing myself to be the strongest, and now I learn there's a power level I'll never reach on my own. And I hate that.
This is the most defining moment for Goku's character. Goku resents how he got the transformation. This is what separates Goku from most shonen main protagonists. While he is appreciative of his friends and family, he hates that they were the only way Goku got as strong as he was. He is a stubborn fighter who wished to get stronger on his own and surpass his own limits. And the fact that Goku was given up the transformation to surpass Beerus haunts him, because it's a level he physically can't attain on his own.
You hate your strength because it's not yours? That's right!
And while I'm on the subject, this is why Battle of Gods is my personal favorite Dragon Ball movie to date. Because in almost every movie, they focus more on developing the new antagonists of the films that feels earned when the main protagonist defeats the threat. But they don't normally focus on the character fighting the antagonist because they're characters we're familiar with outside of Wrath of the Dragon, obviously. But the thing that sells this movie for me is that they use this new age Dragon Ball movie to its advantage to explore the part of Goku's character in this unique way. They gave him a transformation that went everything against Goku stood for, giving Goku a distasteful reaction out of it. This movie does a great job on focusing both the antagonist while also developing a well-known hero we've known for decades in a way where he's even more grown than he was. In the final moments between Goku and Beerus, he now discovers that his body adapted to godly energy of Super Saiyan God is able to use that power freely. So after he successfully stops Beerus from chucking the giant sun ball at the earth, Goku does something that nobody ever expected.
Well, I do. I do give up.
Yep, that's right. Goku gives up. He has no other option other than to surrender. Even after gaining all of this power and surviving for so long, Goku gave up. But in the end, he smiled. He knew that Earth would be destroyed with no other out. So why is he smiling? Well, it's because he now knows that the power previously handed out to him is now his own power that he earned. Just the knowledge of finally surpassing himself and reaching the level of the gods in his own way was enough for him to accept his own destruction. And Beerus suspects that. And that's why Beerus ends up sparing Earth in this wholesome fashion. It's a very satisfying ending that has a lighthearted conclusion with undoubtedly one of the most funniest scenes in Dragon Ball. And we were left with more to look forward to after Beerus lets the audience and Goku know of the multiple universes and new possibilities left for Dragon Ball. And that's how we all knew that Dragon Ball wasn't going anywhere. This was the movie that gave us Dragon Ball Super. While not the best of writing, did end up being a very successful series that millions of people enjoyed with all these hyped and ambitious moments throughout the whole series. The movie isn't perfect. I personally didn't like how he randomly summoned Super Saiyan God. I would rather have he transformed back to Super Saiyan. And honestly, I could go without the random human interactions what's happening in the movie. Because, let's be honest, this is an average Tuesday for them. But all of the good qualities of the movie outweigh the bad. It definitely left me wanting more, and that's exactly what we got. But anyways, that's all I have for this video. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you want to see my perspective on future films I intend to talk about, be sure to subscribe and hit that little notification bell to know the second future videos release. Also be sure to like and comment what you thought of the movie and this video. I'm your favorite vegetable Gab the Boy, signing off.